Well, hello everybody. My name is Viswesh. I'm the president of Articculators Club. We meet at ICC at 7:30 every Wednesday. This is my third consecutive year as a president. I've also been a VPE before becoming the president. Unfortunately, this will be my last term. So we are going to put some framework into place which will help and facilitate the officers who are going to be coming in further down to help them out and really making their goals and making their goals happen. So, Richa, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Richa, and I am the VPE of Articculators, which is a Toastmasters club. Like Viswesh said, we meet at ICC Milpitas. And this is the first time I'm the VPE, and I'm excited to put down all our goals here in this recorded session so that anybody can refer to them down the line.
Oh, fantastic. So the objective of today's meeting, right? So the agenda, first of all, we're going to be talking about what a club plan is and what it means to write officers' goals and how it falls in line with the club plan. And finally, we are going to, for starters, we are going to write and finalize, Richa, we're going to finalize your goals. Right. So what it's going to do is it's going to enable the other officers to follow through and think about it, be mindful of what they want to write in their goals. And finally, the end goal is to have a curated list of all these videos, which will help future leaders when they step into officers' room, right? Yes. Okay, so what is a club plan? Richa, what do you think a club plan is?
A club plan is a list of goals for all the members and all the official members and how they're going to measure their success as that officer.
So you're very good at analogies, right? So if I were to challenge you to provide an analogy for that, how would you put it?
It's a Google Maps, directions for Google Maps. Take a left here, take a right there, then go these many miles, and then turn this way, take that exit. So that's one I can think of. What about you?
Oh, I was actually putting in some thought about this, and one thing which struck my mind was goals, roles and responsibilities of an officer can be compared to a door, but goals are the door knob. So it provides some handle on things.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I like that.
I hope our listeners enjoy that analogy and have a laugh about it as well.
Yeah.
So on a serious note, getting back to what a club plan is, a club plan is a list of officers' goals, what they want to do. Now, we already have roles and responsibilities, right? We have a lot of academia over what roles and responsibilities are there for each club officer, like for what he or she is expected to do, what VPM is expected to do, VPPR, secretary, treasurer, and sergeant-at-arms. Now, these can be compared to a door, but in Articculators, what we do is the council, they always try to tell our members and our officers to write down goals which fall into the SMART metric, which is specific, measurable, which are attainable, realistic, and timely. Now, we don't want to be setting goals for the previous term, right?
Right.
So by making sure all of our goals fall into the SMART quadrant, we ensure that we are doing something productive and we are making a meaningful difference. So that's what a club plan is. Club plan is nothing but a list of goals for every officer, which is in alignment with the club's vision.
Got it.
And the club vision, obviously, it aligns with the Toastmasters International mission and the whole educational mission of what we want to do for the community. So that was about club plan, and I guess we can move over to the majority of our section today, which is setting your goals. Richa, can you talk a little bit more about how you started with Toastmasters? What got you into it?
So I've been interested in public speaking my whole life, but of late I lost touch because it wasn't really required in any of my jobs. And I felt that need of reviving that skill I once had and having that team of friends or team of people who will guide me and give me feedback and help me improve this skill. That's what brought me here. And what brought me into the leadership position is the deepest desire of mine, which is thoroughly enjoying watching people improve. It gives me great happiness when I watch people achieve something. So it's good to be a part of that.
No, that's really great to hear. If every VPE has that intent, Toastmasters, I guess it'll be there in every floor and everywhere. It'll be in your house, it'll be in your kitchen, it'll be in your cubicle at work, it'll also be at the grocery store. Good to know what your intent and where you come from. Now, let's go over your goals. I know prior to this meeting, Richa and I, for the people listening, so Richa and I, the VP and the president, we went back and forth with the initial set of the goals, what we have for her, and we tweaked it here and there. And today we are going to finalize it. So Richa, can you take it away and talk about your goals?
Sure. So when I first joined in, I was not really aware of what improvements can be made, and I was just figuring out how Toastmasters works. And the key component, I believe, is the meeting. So if a meeting is well organized and well planned, it's a good metric of understanding how well the club is doing. So for that, there are two ways of achieving a successful meeting. One is that anybody who is interested in giving a speech should have the right resources and the right encouragement. And secondly, the real reason why people join Toastmasters is to get evaluations on their speeches. So the second aspect is improving those evaluations and creating that system of feedback which makes people feel that value, they can experience the value. So those are the two basic two-pronged approach.
Mm-hmm.
And my goals, broadly speaking, they are to increase member engagement, to achieve DCP goals, which is Distinguished Club Program, and also to encourage more planning and include that in leadership training of all the members involved.
So let's actually talk about those top level points. So according to you, what do you mean by member engagement? What does it mean to you?
So member engagement is when people are fully involved and committed to the 1.5, 2 hours that they are there for their meeting. That also means that if they want to miss a meeting or they cannot fulfill a role, they find their own replacement. They feel that sense of involvement. And all the senior members, they provide guidance and training to the new members. For example, we have the SCS program that gets implemented with the seniors. And secondly, the evaluations are improved by not only the person who is assigned as your evaluator, but also the mentor who will give you an additional evaluation, and that there are resources for that. So every speaker needs to be aware of that opportunity that they have during their speech. Next, we make sure that the evaluator is at least 1 or 2 speeches ahead of the speaker so that they are equipped to give qualified feedback. They're qualified for that feedback. And then to keep things interesting and encouraging, we recognize all the achievements that people have in their CCs and in their CLs. We can post photographs of the winners. We click photographs of all the winners and post them on social media. That also feeds in, that provides content for the VPPR as well and keeps the social live stream active.
So what do you go? So I'm sure you have more just to really follow up with the last point you made. Yeah. So you were actually talking about getting that content back into VPPRs and for VPPR to blast it, right? So have you thought about how you're going to talk with that person? Is it going to be through officers meeting, or are you going to establish a direct rapport with the officer to make sure he's on page with what you're doing?
Yeah, so one of the key things would be if the VPPR has attended the officers training, they would know that this is part of their job. So that's one expectation from them. And if not, if they are not really up to speed, then it's best to get in touch with them during officers training. If they don't show up for officers training for whatever reason, then get in touch with them directly to make sure that the job gets done, regardless of whether the process was followed as it should have been.
I see. How does it translate with the VPM? Now, VPPR is outwards, the person who deals with the public relations with the community, right? What about internal? So that one is taking care of the internal relationships and making sure the members are happy. It's taken care by the VPM. So how does your goal fit into the VPM's goals?
Yes, I believe it's important to keep the VPPM involved and aware, keep them in the loop about this certain responsibility from the VPPR, so that they can be that point of contact between the two people, between two officers.
I see. Makes sense.
That's what I think. What are your point of view?
No, that was, you basically answered you answered the question. So VPM, he makes sure that the peak performance, right? So what happens is they get into the sedentary mode, they get stuck in a rut, they stop giving advanced speeches. Now with the goals, what you're talking about, if you get the buy-in from VPM and make sure that the VPM, basically does his job properly, his or her job properly, VPM will make sure that he talks to the existing members, the senior members, and make sure that they are getting value out of Toastmasters, even though they have, climbed Mount Everest, achieved VPM. Make sure that there is another mountain right in front of them.
That brings up an excellent point, because if the VPPM is also taking care of the mentorship, making sure that the mentorship is going smoothly.
Oh, no. So you are going to be spearheading the mentorship program.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll actually come into the VPM section later on.
All right,
but maybe it's better to keep it, leave it at that.
Okay, great. So more goals, talking about more goals.
Go ahead.
Educational workshops, speech, craft, and creative writing organized once every month or every 2 months. And online education workshops, this is one of the beginnings of that. We can continue to do that once every month. And then coming to planning. Planning is planning of speeches and how users or how members are going to achieve their goals. So the first way of doing that is scheduling speeches 4 weeks in advance. And what's going to happen is people might not be available the day their speech is scheduled. So 1 week before the speech, their roles and all those positions are confirmed to make sure that there are no empty slots. And if there are empty slots, we use that as an opportunity for the SCS, the senior members, to deliver one of those speeches and include that. It kind of gets built in like a backup program. So that's one thing. You are more experienced. You can tell me whether that will work or not.
No, that definitely fits in. So basically that particular process, it has 2 subsections. One is you tell them, okay, you know what, let's use the speech to finish your advanced speeches, right?
Yes.
And then the second way of doing it is calling out any of the senior members and saying, hey, I am challenging you for a speech off the cuff challenge. So at 7 o'clock, we have our weekly meetings at 7:30. And this is something which has been going on for a while now. So you call out any member and say, I'm going to send you a topic. So the Toastmaster or the VPE steps in and does this. He says, send a title at 7 o'clock, and the expectation is that that person prepares a 5 to 7 in the 30 minutes, and he's ready to go at 7:30. And this has actually worked wonders, because it is proved to transform somebody to, mostly what happens is the Toastmaster speeches, they work on it for a week or 2 weeks, they send it through the mentor, get feedback, and then finally come up with this perfect product, a perfect delivery which they're happy with. But most times that's not what happens in a day-to-day life. Your boss will come up to you and say, hey, what's going on? So you need to come up with this effective speech if you really want to go up the ladder or be effective in communication, or to be a better you, That's the better way to put it.
Right.
About the corporate ladder, right? We
Yeah.
need to be growing because the essence of life is growth. Now, by having these challenges thrown at you at the end of it, I know. So until now, I think I've had 2 SOC challenges. Coming out of the 2 SOCs, I felt great, and that's given me confidence in like this particular session which we're having. Prior to the SOCs or even Toastmasters, I'm not sure if I'll have the confidence to speak. But right now, I feel better. And the same thing goes for the seasoned Toastmasters like Dr. Ram, he's a DTM. Sunil DTM, when you challenge Parthiv or these DTMs, at the end of it, they feel so invigorated that they want to get back on the saddle and start giving out speeches. So it's really great. So that again falls into the VPM, but again, you'll be driving most of it. Like we talked about. Yeah, go ahead.
That's very informative. Right. And another thing is, when guests come in, we want to make sure that their first impression is spot on. So a number of steps can be taken for ensuring that. The first one is when they're giving their first introduction, let's not put them on the spot. Let's be gentle about it and just ask them their name, where they're from, and if they've been to a Toastmasters meeting before. And then ask that follow-up question, would you like to participate or do you want to be an observer? So if they agree that they want to participate, then only we call them out for table topics and for a feedback later on. And also lastly, we get them to get their contact, maybe in a guest book, or somebody needs to make sure that we have their contact so that we can follow up with them once. So that's one thing, another thing that, And lastly, the goal regarding DCP goals is that we need to build the CL, promote the CL into our agenda in some way, like when the Toastmaster is introducing the word and theme of the day, and once the roles are finalized, right, then he can announce something like, for all those of you who have brought your CL, please hand it to the member on your left or the right, so that, and they will evaluate it. Because what happens normally is when you're handed a CL, you're like, oh my God, what is this leadership thing? I don't know. I don't think I'm equipped enough to evaluate you on this and that. So early on, in the year, we can educate them that it's not that difficult to provide a CL evaluation and how exactly to use it.
Oh, that's actually good. And do you think, would it be better for the Toastmaster or the VPE to make that initial announcement like, how many of you didn't bring your CL?
Yes, right, sure.
So that we put them on the spot and make sure that they bring in the,
Yes, that's a great idea. And in fact, when people achieve individual sections of their CL, we should make it a point to recognize and applaud that.
Okay, sounds good. Now, Richa, so these goals, I'm assuming you actually finished. Do you have a list which you share to the the viewers to help them?
Sure, let me share that. So I put it up in an Excel sheet. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Okay. So here we have planning, where you schedule 4 speeches. And so these are the broad categories. These are the goals. And here we have a weekly tracking. I've put it up till the end of this year, wherein, for example, this goal I have achieved. I have scheduled speeches for the next 4 weeks. And this is to build in a little bit of slack just to figure out whether 4 weeks is actually working out for our club or not. And then reduce last minute speaker dropouts. This can be done by implementing the mentorship program. Next, members find their own replacements. In case they cannot attend or they cannot speak that day, it's up to them to find their replacement. And then comes the engagement, which is implementing the SCS with senior members and use SCS as backup speakers. This is exactly what we just talked about. Then evaluations, the evaluator should be ahead of the speaker on CC. This depends on me assigning the role to the relevant evaluators. Additional evaluation from mentor. This is built into the mentorship program.
Oh, for the benefit of the guest, can you expand on SES real quick? What does it stand for?
Sorry. So this stands for silver. I'm blanking out. Sorry.
Not the ACS, the SES, the club betterment, right? The
Yes.
Better Club series.
Right. Successful club series.
Okay.
So what happens in that is all the senior members get that initiative, get that, what do you call it? They have that encouragement to continue with their goals and derive satisfaction from what they're doing.
Okay.
Keep their engagement and their satisfaction levels high. And it also helps us achieve DCP goals. So back to evaluations. Evaluators to be ahead of additional evaluation from mentor, photo of ribbon winners, recognize CL achievements, VPPR to upload photographs. And then here, when we want to have one speech craft or creative writing workshop once every 2 months. So if we start today, that comes out to August, October, and December. We'll be measuring out these. And one online education workshop per month. Now, DCP goals use role history to assign roles for CL and include CL in meeting agendas. So the best thing about, first of all, do you have any comments on this?
Yes, can you expand on the online educational workshop? So what do you have in mind? Are you thinking about like online live broadcast of educational sessions, which will help members, and also it'll help VP
Right. So
PR to get it up?
this is part of, in a way, it's part of our stretch goals, which is to have this library, this resource library, where new members can have enough material for preparing for their speeches and for other leadership roles. So what can happen in this is we have live YouTube sessions over the weekends, and all the members are invited to attend that. And if they are not able to attend it, then they can view it later on at whenever they have time to do that. So that's what I have in mind. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Now, I think these educational workshop it can actually it can go beyond the club. So beforehand, if you can get the link, the YouTube live shared link to the VP PR,
right?
VPPR can actually broadcast it out to our meetup groups or the Yahoo groups to make sure they can attend it and to see what our club has to offer.
And that's great.
Okay.
That's more content for the VPPR to work with.
Right. So you're actually making the VPPR do a lot more work, which is good.
I mean, that'll ensure that members are able to find us. I mean, new people are able to find us and appreciate the value that we have to offer as a club, which to my experience, as per my experience, it is very organized, and we make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak in that meeting. And it's one of the shortest durations, in my opinion, of any club meetings. So I'm pretty proud of about the club.
Yeah, cool. So let's go back to that sheet once again. So it looks like we need to move a couple of points back into engagement. Like, for example, the educational workshops, they can actually fall into the engagement.
Okay.
And also the workshop, the speech craft and create.
Yeah, these two things, they can move in here.
Yes, they can move into the engagement because we want to engage the user with quality education.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay, so let me do that another time. Let's not spend time, but I'll do that right away.
Okay.
So what else?
Oh, and also, did you also have a list, like, a club plan? So this is great, for Excel. This makes sure that all of your goals fall into the smart quadrant, and it also helps us to measure if you actually, made that progress, right? Now, before getting to this Excel sheet, did you have a document which outlined the, your goals?
My document is this one here. Is the same document, just in different format. So this is our original club plan from the previous semester. If I'm
not seeing if you're sharing anything or not.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Previous semester, yeah, that sounds right.
I believe we work with semesters. That's how it feels like to me. Okay, let me see.
I think it was in another tab.
Right, it's this one here.
Oh, great.
So this is the club plan, original club plan. And then for my goals, I have them here. And these are just the broad ones, right? Which is mentorship, buddy program, encourage speaking goals and successful club series, and plan meetings to maintain the speaker schedule.
I see. Okay.
And then detailed out into step by step is what we have here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this was the document I was referring to.
All right. Okay, hold on. There it is.
I see. Pretty nice, Richa. So that actually concludes our club planning session. I think the goals which you have outlined for your term is pretty solid, and I'm really excited to work with you, to really see you in action. And I'm more importantly, I'm excited to see what comes out of it, right? What kind of, how the members get what they get out of it, and did we really make an impact, and did we really contribute and make a meaningful difference?
Right. I'm also excited to see and bridge that gap between expectation and reality. And I hope all the members they respond positively to these new changes, and they also join in this whole process of leaving it better than they've found it.
Fantastic. So, great. So, final question to you. At the end of this term, what do you expect?
I expect that our club achieves higher levels than it has in the past, which is quite a tall order because the club is at quite a high level right now. And also making a change in individual members' confidence and skill level.
Oh, that pretty much sums up everything what we are all striving for. A great conclusion, Richa. It was wonderful having you. For the listeners, tune in. There'll be more goal-setting meetings with the other officers, and finally, these will be translated into the club plan. And the president, which is I'll be following through and scheduling club officer meetings, making sure that we are making strides to somehow make this club a success.
Awesome. It's great. I'm looking forward to working with you and the whole team.
Likewise, Richa. See you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Bye.